Hello, Matt. How are
Hello,
you?
hello,
Are
hello.
you okay?
I am very good, thank you. And you, how are you doing
I'm
today?
good too, thank you. I feel my thoughts jumping a lot today, but
hmm
I'm feeling very good. I'm in a good mood, so let's go for the subject today.
Okay, so hello, 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 and welcome in Power Pass, your ticket to greatness. And today is Halloween, and we'll be speaking about fear, but the fear of failure.
Hmm.
Fear of failing. Why do we have it? How can we recognize that we have it? How can we deal with it? And where it come from? So yes, at the beginning I wanted to say there are people walking around and asking for sweets. So if you hear a doorbell, it's a calling for for sweets. But yeah, so welcome all. Hi Venti. Hi Kariendals. Probably sorry I slain your name. But yeah, welcome. And if you have any kind of questions, any kind of insights, please feel free to send them to us questions. We will expand upon them and share our knowledge. So yes, today's topic, the fear of failure. So what it is? Why do we have it? Where it comes from?
Okay, so first let me welcome the people that join with us. And as Matt said, please feel free to ask questions and to comment. You are very welcome in that. So, fear of failure. The fear of failure is very connected with the fact that we really concentrate our attention in our past events. Okay, so all of us, of course, at some point in our life, we face some kind of challenge, some kind of event. That event could be quite traumatic, and then we get stuck in that memory. So then it's like you focus every time in these failures, in these events. And it's something that you get so concentrated and so focused that when you are living the present, you are struggling at the same time because you don't have any commitment to the present. Even if you say, no, no, but I want to change my life. I agree with you. Of course, you want to change your life. However, the energy, okay, your mind is totally focused in the past. And then it's like, okay, if this happened before in my life, if I faced this challenge and if it was so difficult and it made me cry, I felt humiliated, um, I felt disappointed, even I could be um, even exposed to some people that were mocking me. It's something that after every time that you have some situation that you think that you have the possibility to be very close to this kind of experience, you just stop. You
Hmm.
can't go further. Even, for example, many times what happens is that you try to create another kind of situation that stops your process. So, for example, accidents, they can be
hmm
common in this kind of circumstances because it's like you are protecting all your system of facing the pain again. You don't want to face that pain again, even
hmm
because our brain is prepared exactly to protect us. This is the reason because we have a system that allows us to have an answer to the fear.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is basic. We cannot avoid to feel fear.
Mm.
Okay, and this is the reason if you really explore the memories of your past, you really struggle in your present. Even many times when this fear of failure is so present in your life, it's very easy for you to develop a depression
Mm.
because it's like if you are attached to the events, to the pain that you faced before, then you stop to be yourself because
Mm.
it's like, oh my God, I really wish to go and dance all night long, but I remember that when, for example, I was 14 years old, I did that, and people, they started to make jokes about the way how I was dancing. And then this experience gets stuck. And after that, it's like all the time that I have to get exposed to people, the fear comes associated, okay, people can really make jokes about me. So then you don't express exactly what you want. So your wishes, your desires, that they are exactly a mirror of your essence, of your soul, because of course there are people that they don't feel this need to go and dance. Okay, every person has a different kind of desire. And this is the kind of situation that then you start to stop to be yourself with this fear of failure, and it's very easy for you to develop a depression, because a depression is always a kind of symptom, let's say, of you not being respecting yourself. Yeah. Usually what happens is that you start to behave in a way that you think the others will be pleased, or at least will not hurt you. Mm-hmm. And so, then you forget about yourself.
Yes. What I wanted to observe, as children, we very often try new things. We learn how to walk. We learn how to write. We learn how to behave. And we very often fail. Because this is how we learn. Yeah, we fall on the ground, we scratch our knees, and then we get up. And so when it changes, because as children we don't have this fear of failure. I want to learn how to ride a bike, and even if I fall 60 times and I scratch my knees and I break my arm, I will still want to learn how to ride a bike. Yeah. So why after those traumatic events, this failure, as children we don't develop the fear of failure, but it grows later when we are more adult?
Okay, so according to Freud, you have the Oedipian period, the Oedipian phase. And by that time, it's the moment that you start to consider that it's you, one of your parents, and then the other parent. And it's in this moment that you just want one of the parents for you. Okay, if you are a boy, you want your mommy. Yeah. Okay. And the enemy, let's say, it's your dad. Okay. In this game, you start straight away to compare yourself with the other that has the love from your mom. Yeah, because it's like, okay, I want my mom for myself, but actually it's my dad who sleeps with her every night. Or even my mom gives more attention to my dad than to myself. So you start to develop a kind of comparison. Okay, it's like, okay, he has more than me. All right, so in here, you establish the comparison. Later on, you start with the kind of demandings from your parents, from the school, from your friends, that it's like, for example, you are going, riding a bike, very happy, and then you fall down. And imagine that your friends in there start to joke with you, and even they say to you, what a shame, you cannot ride the bike, you are 7 years old and you fell down. This is the moment that you start to integrate the shame. Okay? So when you put comparison and shame, and of course also I have to mention that even before you develop feelings as guilt, okay? So it's a combo that when you are developing, then creates a kind of mixing in your psyche that then it will establish your need of belonging to the world. And it's this kind of need of belonging and to be accepted, that then you stop to be yourself. So all the things that you consider that it was a failure because you felt that in that moment you were not accepted, you didn't belong to that group, it's exactly something that gets recorded as a failure. If you make this, you don't belong.
So yes, as we develop and we grow, there's a mix of emotions. And as this mix of emotions starts to kicking in, we start creating this need of belonging. And so if we fail, the natural logical explanation for the subconscious mind will be, okay, I failed, I feel ashamed, I don't belong, therefore I don't want to try new things because if I fail, I won't be belonging.
Yeah, they
And
don't like me.
yes, so this is one of the reasons that the fear of failure is so paralyzing, that people don't want to make a move, don't want to make anything, because if I will do, I might fail. And so how do you think it is being saved in the body? Which part of the body are corresponding with it the most?
This is a very complex question because you know, some studies, they identify some kind of emotions that they are really connected to some type of organ. Okay, energetically it can be everywhere. And it really makes sense because it's like energetically they bet in the vision of the torus. Okay, so torus has a shape of an apple, okay, around you, and this is always around you. So these and goes back to you. So in this kind of energetic field, what happens is that if the pain or the trauma or the event energetically gets stuck in one part of this apple, let's say, then can be reflected in another part of your body that is not exactly the ones that are described with some studies. Okay, so anyway, of course, some people, they will stand up for the idea. No, the fear is connected with this, with the kidneys. Okay, and you have other people that they will stand up and they will tell you, no, they can, it can be everywhere. The thing is that, to be very honest, I believe that it doesn't matter, because the reality is that it gets stuck in our body. And it's very easy to prove that, because look, one thing, how many times, for example, if you are facing a situation that you fear, you can feel different impressions in your body. Some people, they can feel an impression in their throat. Okay. Other people, they can start to feel a pain in their back. Other people, they can feel some kind of numbness in the left arm or the right arm. So it really depends. But of course, what I'm saying, it really assures that the information gets stuck in our body. We have a nervous system. We cannot forget about that. And has a nervous system that we have, it's like a net of information that is going around. This is exactly the thing. If this information continues through all our body, it's something that can go everywhere. And of course, also, we can't forget that some of us, since the moment that we were conceived, we start to develop parts of our body that they are more sensitive to the stimuli. Okay, because, for example, in the uterus, you are very sensitive to the rejection, okay? So this is a kind of pain that you develop in the uterus. The first perception of rejection that you have, it's in uterus.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no way of going around about this. And the reason it's because even the process of myelinization, that is exactly to give a structure, okay, for then you move your arms and your legs and so on. This is exactly connected with this process. So in different phases of your development, different parts of your body can get more sensitive. Because, for example, let's go imagine people that they had a lot of events and they have a traumatic experience when they are about 1 year and a half. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is the time that the parents like to say to the kid, dance now this song. And then, yeah, so beautiful, so nice. And the child by this moment understands that if I do what they want, I get a reward. But if I don't do what they want, I will have consequences or they will ignore me. So by that time, this area, it's very developed. You can see this physically in people. For example, when this part of your chest is much larger than your hips, it's because you had some events in that part, in that phase of your life, that created a fear of being manipulated. Mm-hmm. So again, when you grow up, you will have this kind of fear that it's like, well, if I do this, what I can win. If I don't do, what I will lose. Mm-hmm. And these are the people that are always trying to make a business with you. They can give you something, but you have to give something back to them. No choice. And also, this is a fear of failure. So they are more progressist in this case, the example that I gave. However, they have a fear that is hunting them regarding the kind of opportunistic people that can surround them. This is an example.
Okay. So when we recognize that we have the fear of failure, that we want to do something, want to achieve something, yet there is something blocking us, or we are creating this kind of events like an accident or a distraction that doesn't lead us to the desired outcome. How can we start working with it? How can we start detaching it? Can we push through it, or is it impossible?
I think it's not impossible. Because you know one thing, when you start to understand where is your mind, you really get the awareness to start to change your focus. Okay? Because, as we said before, so when you are brushing teeth, where is your mind? Because it's in that moment that you can understand where is your mind going. And if you pay attention, in the moments that you stop, let's say, that you are not involved in any task, you can understand exactly what comes to you. Imagine you broke up maybe 3 years ago with someone, and you are going for a walk in the park, and comes the memory to you. And you start to say something like this to yourself. It was a big mistake. I had all the signs in there. Red flags everywhere. And why I didn't respect myself. And this is very common in someone that fears the failure. Because Who fears the failure has a lot of self-judgment. Okay, and this is the reason, because then you get stuck in there, because at the same time that you are punishing yourself, you cannot move on. So when you get the awareness that, okay, very well, my mind is going to the past, to this event. If you start to look at that event as something that it was kind of learning, I prefer to use the word learning instead of lesson, because lesson, it's like, if you think that you didn't learn the lesson, you think again that, oh yeah, I failed again. Sorry. So the learning allows you to see exactly who you are. So by that time, you ignored yourself. It was not a failure. It was just because you were not so aware about yourself. That's it. Right now that you have all the perception about the red flags, you are more mature. So you can exactly look at yourself and start to say to yourself that, okay, yeah, I faced that. Now I recognize the red flags, and this makes me feel more connected with myself. Because for instance, and this happens often in the relationships, it's like, or you lose the freedom, or you lose the security, or you open hands of something that is very important for you. For example, you have a hobby, and then the other person hates your hobby, and then you drop your hobby. And if you are not even respecting your likes, so then of course you get damaged. And then you have this perception of failure, that it's like, how I did this mistake. And in the present, if you go really to the reality, like, okay, now I have this learning, I know where the things can go wrong, where I opened my hands, and now it's something that it's like, I'm aware that I have to keep. Because if I don't keep these, I really get far away from myself, from my soul. Because
So
yes,
self-soothing inner dialogue. It is very important to be conscious and be aware of where my mind is right here, right now, what I'm thinking about. I am going back to the past pain, past emotions, and going to struggle, and my body is going into anxiety, or I am choosing and explaining myself, okay, this is what happened in the past. That was a learning. That what taught me more about myself. That what taught me about the dangers, and now I can react differently. I can be more conscious person. And so step by step, by soothing yourself, by talking yourself out of the past and moving yourself back into the present moment, you can naturally dissolve the fear of failure and start moving forward.
Yeah, because look, one thing, every day that you decide to think about something that made you feel really bad, you are just telling to your body that you are ready for more. You are preparing all your system to accept more bad things. Because look, one thing, our body has a tendency to exactly respect us in some way. And this is the thing. It will allow you to do things that sometimes are not pleasant to you. However, if they are not pleasant, your body will start to tell you, hey, stop there. Because I will not let you go further. And this is something that if you are too focused in the past, look at your knees, look at your feet, how they are. Because many times the issues on our knees, on our feet, is exactly about the fear of change, the fear of giving a step and take another pathway, and then who knows what can come. And this is something that we really have to pay attention, because I remember that sometimes even some kind of fungus, okay, that you develop in your feet are very connected with this kind of experience that you have in your past, that they are holding you, and then you don't want to move further. Okay, so
Stepping forward, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like something that you really have to consider. It's like, okay, today is a new day. Yes, my life looks quite similar to yesterday. However, what I'm going to do today? How am I going to deal with these things? Because look, one thing, if you don't start to stop your thoughts consciously, you will struggle. And many times it's very important that we have the movement of, okay, which kind of thought is this? Is this helping me? Because you have a lot of thoughts that they don't help you at all. Yeah.
Being conscious, conscious.
So just say to yourself, stop there. So go and go to the garden, get some flowers, get something, but try exactly to change your thoughts, because we know that the thoughts are like a train without brakes. Okay, so if the train carries on without brakes, we will have a big accident.
Yeah, we need to choose the direction of our thoughts. That's why being conscious, that's why we're doing it. Yes, that's why we're speaking about it, to teach you guys, to give you the importance of how important it is to be aware of your own thoughts and where the train without brake is going. Because if you are becoming aware of what are you thinking about, you can choose the direction where it will lead. So if you start self-soothing yourself and listen, okay, that was the past. Now it's not the past. I am somewhere else. I am choosing new frequency for me, new thoughts. I am choosing new experiences for me, and I know that I learned from the past, and I choose to become better and better. So only by slightly shifting your thoughts and becoming aware of them, you will start changing your reality, and the fear of future will cease to exist. For me, fear is an acronym of false evidence appearing real, because it doesn't exist anymore. It is in the past. There's something in the past that happened, and our ego is constantly looking back on it and saying, okay, that's what happened. You need to be careful now because there might something wrong happen. But it's only an illusion. That's a projection of the ego. So soothing the ego, saying, okay, hold on for a second. I am safe. Everything is fine. I can achieve it. Amazing.
And also just because last week we were talking about the fear of success, and they are very connected, because it's like if you don't go to one, you really can go to the other, and it's like you are dancing between these two fears.
Yeah.
And now I remember also about one situation, because sometimes it's very connected with the fear of failure, that, okay, this can repeat again. For example, and this is quite common, when people cannot move on. Imagine, for example, that you had an amazing job or an amazing relationship, something maybe that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. But when you look back, you remember, oh, it was so great. I was so happy. I could travel, or maybe we were having a dinner out every week. Doesn't matter, okay? What comes to you. And then, or you lost that job, okay? Or this relationship, it was over, okay? And then it's like you get attached to these memories, and nothing that comes to your present, it's enough, because again, you are not committed with the present, you are committed with the past.
Yeah.
So you are looking always, so what I have lost. So if I have lost that in that moment, this means, let's say, in my unconscious, that right now I don't deserve to have better, because I didn't really take the chance of enjoying that moment, or of being happy in that moment. Or maybe even you can judge yourself and think something like, I was so stupid that even I couldn't understand at that time that the person or the job was amazing. And then you continue to exactly punish yourself. So you are always attached to this punishment.
To the past. Okay. So our time is getting to an end. So if there is anything that you would like to tell our viewers and listeners as to how to recognize and how to deal with their fear of failure.
It's very simple. Notice in the time that you are, for example, concentrated doing something, or stop, or that you are going to the supermarket, where is going your mind? If your mind goes to some event in the past, okay, it's because you are very linked to this fear of failure. You are attached to your past. And if you are attached to your past, you have a commitment with your past, not with your present. So, and also it's easy if you feel that in your present moment, you are not feeling fulfilled. You are always looking to the past and observing what you have lost. Every time that this game appears in your mind, you really can understand that you are giving too much value to your past experience and not to your present. And you can really create a different life. You just try, I think sometimes we can talk a lot, but I think it's very important for people to try. Just give a try, and then you can come here and complain if it didn't work well. But open to the experience of every moment in your day that you go to a past event. Just say to yourself, okay, no. Today, what is important for me is to finish this task. And I really want to make a good job. Focus on that. And then when you go to bed, see how you feel. It's just an exercise. If you repeat it for a while, you can start to understand that even you embrace your life in a different way. Because it's like you start to understand that the focus in the present doesn't allow you to think in punishment. So you are more pleased with yourself.
You're changing the mind frame, yes.
Yeah, if you are more pleased with yourself, of course, you start to enjoy the present with other eyes and with other hearts.
Amazing. So blessings to you all, guys and girls, and be conscious. be conscious about your thoughts and what is happening when you want to do something new and you feel that something is blocking you. Or maybe you are noticing some kind of self-sabotage happening around you and in your life. It might be fear of success, it might be fear of failure, but if you will start becoming more aware about your thoughts and start dedicating yourself, there's one task that I want to finish. I choose to finish it and accomplish it. You will start seeing and noticing very positive changes in your reality, in your life. So that's it.
And just
Yeah.
one more thing that I would like to add, that is, even the past events that happened and that made you suffer, of course, you can feel that pain. However, remember that it was that pain that also raised something quite good in you, or more tolerance about the others, or more respect, another kind of acceptance that comes about the others. And try to look at that past events as something that you just have to look at them as a source of strength and not pain and punishment. I think this is essential, because I think I said this last time, I don't remember, that is, if your energy is concentrated in there, yeah, and it's not in here, so that energy in the past, it's connected to pain, but belongs to your system. So it can be transformed in strength. That's it, because it's about energy.
And it's about learning.
Yeah.
Everything brings you back to you. Okay, blessing. That's it for today. We send you
Yes.
love, we bless you, and we invite you for the next episode of Power Pass next Monday on YouTube.
No.
On
Ah,
YouTube.
yes, on YouTube. Sorry.
It won't be live, but it won't be on YouTube. I know, I remember. So yeah, you can watch our episode on YouTube. And that's it. We bless you and keep up. You're amazing.
And don't forget, if you have questions, if also you have suggestions about some kind of subject that you would like to hear discussed here, let us know, email us, that we are here for that. Okay, that's it. Blessings too, and see you then. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.